Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And my name is Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie and discuss it every week, just like a book club. On today's show, we're covering the Hong Kong romantic drama In the Mood for Love. Our thoughts and more are coming up on Movie Club. Released in 2000, In the Mood for Love was directed by Wong Kar-wai and stars Tony Leung, Maggie Cheung, and Ping Lam Su. Sorry if there's any mispronunciation of those names. Two neighbors form a strong bond after both suspect extramarital activities of their spouses. However, they agree to keep their bond platonic so as not to commit similar wrongs. It's ranked 67 on Letterboxd's Top 250 and currently has a 4.4 out of 5 on that platform. Before we dive into the video, we do want to go ahead and issue a spoiler warning for the movie. We're going to be talking about everything that happens in this movie, and we don't want to spoil it for you because, spoiler alert, it's really good. So we're going to be discussing everything that happens, so if you don't want to see it, go watch it, then come back here. You're not going to offend us. You're all good. Stay tuned to the end of the show, though, to find out what movie we're covering next week, because I think it's been quite a while since we've done a movie of that genre, so very excited for that one. Alrighty, Kevin. So In the Mood for Love was my pick this week. And similar to Chungking Express, which is the same director, I wanted to pick a movie that I had heard also all this stuff about that I had never seen, and that you had most likely never seen, and watch it for the first time. Yeah. And after Chungking Express, which I thought was good but not great, I was kind of expecting... my expectations for this movie were kind of all over the place. But had you heard of this movie before obviously we talked about it on Chungking Express's episode, but were you familiar with it at all?
Nope, not at all.
Gotta love it.
But the other thing is too, I'm glad that we saw maybe that movie first before we saw this movie, so we can get a little bit of a background on what the director wants to accomplish in his movies. So
yeah, which it's literally like going excuse me, from like a good delivery pizza to like a New York style pizza, because this movie is it is so good. And I do really want to talk about it, so let's go ahead and dive into it. In the Mood for Love is I know all I'm going to keep saying is this movie is so good. It's because it truly is. But what makes this movie so good, I'm going to start out with this. The performances.
Yeah.
Tony Leung
and
Maggie Cheung
blow it out of the water in this
so good. There is so much emotion that they're not showing. It's pent up inside, and you can clearly tell that these two, like, you can tell these two love each other. You could not have subtitles and you could know what was going on. That's how good these performances are. They are masterfully done. There is a passion and a tension between each other that they know that they can't do anything about.
Yeah.
Because they, as I say in the movie, they don't want to be as bad as their spouses. And this wasn't a time where divorce was simple or easy or common, right? Like, it's, if they were to engage in any activities together, it would not be a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I love how well performed these two characters are. Like, every conversation, every sentence feels bursting with emotion under the surface.
Yeah, it does. And the little hints of, when he tries to hold her hand and stuff like that, and then she rejects it one time, but then one night they kind of hold fingers pretty much.
Flirt with the idea a little bit more.
Yeah, flirt with it a little bit. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a happy ending for them. Then come to realization, but it was still good. It was just like, oh, we're going to get that good feel moment. We're going to see them just be like, oh, you know what? Never mind. Let's just try to let's give into our love for each other. But they don't. And that's what it's like. Your heart aches a little bit every time you're like, they're just friends. But that means they're just they're good wife and husband to the other person that we don't see half the
Yeah.
time. So which I think is another good thing is don't let into your inner thoughts or something like that, something along those lines, because you have
Yeah.
somebody else at home.
But also think of the regret you have by
Mm-hmm.
not acting on that, and not being with the person who you know you belong with
Mm-hmm.
instead,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's absolutely enthralling stuff. Um, and I agree. I think that the way that they like the fact that they don't
Yeah.
do anything
Mm-hmm.
is so it's so not American. It's not Western filmmaking, right?
Yeah.
In any
Yeah.
other country from the West, they would have been together.
Yep.
They would have done it really early on and then trying to hide it or whatever, or then not
Mm-hmm.
hiding it and just living their truth, right? But no, this is like so much more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 'cause I'm sure there is a lot of people, and I'm not saying you or I are this way, but like there are a lot of people who are in committed relationships like this that have met someone who maybe they love more, who they maybe see as them as a perfect match for them,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to be quiet and they can't say anything, and
Yeah.
then they live that life of regret. It is like I really connected with this because there's a lot of times where I would say I've lost out on relationships potentially or even friendships with people because I didn't say something soon enough. I never had the courage to actually break that silence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Hey, I like you." You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I really connected with that. And I think that that's just one of those like we said this with Close Up, right? It is so human.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens with this movie. Um and it's just it's masterfully done. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if you. There's one part of this movie that is very widely known, more so among the film cinephile community, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography in this movie.
I mean, I loved how he didn't use a lot of the slow motion like he did in the first movie.
Oh,
First of
thankfully,
all, yeah,
yeah,
that was amazing. But I liked all the little busy shots and the shots of the city. And I liked the shots of the apartment too, about how small everything is. It feels like they're growing closer together because of how small the apartment is, and and all of that stuff. But it's still, it felt so big because you want them to fall in love with each other, which they are in love with each other, but they don't get together. And it's just they're pushing it closer and closer, and then the movie just spreads them apart little by little. Like when they're in the apartments, they're closer together, but when they get out into the streets and they have some room to walk around, they spread apart a little bit. That's what I noticed, at least.
sure. I mean, I'm also looking at things like color.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people joke around and say this movie invented red. Like this movie is very beautiful when it has to do with the color red. Obviously, standing in for passion or love or
Hmm.
sexual
Hmm.
tension, whatever it could be, right? But think about also like the green dress that Maggie Chung or Mrs. Chan wears. Like
Hmm.
it stands out from everything.
Yep.
And then, but also with the cinematography, what stands out to me too is that a lot of shots are kind of like they'll be in the background. We kind of come from around the corner of a wall or something, almost like
Mhm.
we're a fly on the wall. That we're seeing this happen in, and not from a typical cinematography point of view,
I
right?
get that. Yeah, like he when he rings the doorbell and stuff, it's like we're plastered to the wall. It's not like we're next to him or like beside him. We're This is the wall. The camera's right here, and then the actor's right there. It's a very odd way of putting a camera, but it works that way.
Yeah, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You know,
Mm.
and again the color, the reds, right, the greens, the browns,
Mm-hmm.
like everything just looks so good. And I do want to. I actively want to watch this movie again to pick up on what Wong Kar Wai is trying to say with the color and
Mm-hmm.
what the reds mean. I mean, obviously, love, passion,
I think
things like
he
that.
just wanted her dress to be an attention. every single time because it was the attention for the guy as for the male actor. So that's what I think. It was like wear the most colorful thing ever because that makes the viewer's eye pop, and that's going to make the actor's eyes pop as well and realize, oh, I am falling for her and stuff like that. And it gets very vibrant throughout the whole movie as well.
Yeah, and I do want, and on that, I do want to kind of touch on the idea of falling for each other because obviously they do. But if you think about it, think about how you watching this, how you fell for them. Like immediately you start to feel bad for them and for what they're going through, and then you get to see them come together and you feel better about it. But then, like, you know, you feel a little incomplete by the end of this movie.
Oh, you do.
Shocker, so do they. And it's brilliant structuring.
It
right?
is because you
the same thing they do.
Because you're going through the whole movie with them. They're like, oh, my wife and husband, they're not here all the time and everything. Like, you're like, oh, that's sad. And then they get into this friendship and you're like, oh, maybe they have something going. And then they start to fall in love with each other. You're like, yes, keep it going. And like you said, us Americans are like, dude, we're going to have a happy ending at the end of this. But then it just tapers down and it's like, no, you're not. I'm not going to give you what you want. This is what you're going to get. And it's very satisfying to receive something that you don't, that you get normally. You're like, oh, well, yeah, that's how life would go sometimes for people in relationships. And I'm like, actually, I understood a lot of it more because it didn't go with the happy ending.
Yeah, right there with you. One thing, so this movie is very nearly perfect to me, and that's going to spoil my score a little bit. There is one consistent nitpick that I have with this movie, and it has to do with the music. Now, the score for this movie, or the soundtrack, is awesome. The Nat King Cole songs are brilliant. When I think of like love tension, kind of sexual tension type thing, Nat King Cole's voice is up there. Very, very, very good at kind of getting that point across. But there's one particular piece of music that is part of the score that it's a good piece of music, but it's played like 20 times during the course of this movie. And it's annoying, unfortunately.
It gets a little repetitive, unfortunately, and it doesn't bring your tension up or down. It's just, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, they're using that one again, it was an interesting thought to it.
Which, like, I'm tempted just to, I feel like it's seared into my brain, but I'm like trying to listen to it again. Yeah. I literally, like, hearing it again, I'm just like, like, it's a beautiful piece of music. It's called Yumeji's Theme by the composer Shigeru Umebayashi. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a beautiful piece of music. I would love to hear that in like a concert hall, whatever. But like when it's played in the movie like 20 or 30 times, every time someone's walking down a hallway, like vary it up a little bit, like a different theme or a different like part of the song, right? It's always that same like boom, 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 and then getting into the cello part. It's beautiful, but like it's overplayed. And it just holds me back from that perfect score because it was enough that I vocally was like, every time it came up, I was just like, ugh, really? Again?
Yeah. They could have used it in a different tone. Same music style, but just a little bit of a deeper tone or a little bit of a high-pitched tone when they were falling in love. A high-pitched tone. It's like, oh, they're on a high right now, and then they're on a low if you do the low-pitched tone. I can totally understand that. But yeah, it's just the same.
Or slow it down a little bit or speed it up. Like anything.
Totally agree.
Would have been better than just having the one piece of music over and over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Okay, Kevin, so it was my choice this week, so I'll go ahead. I'll give my score first. I already said this movie was very nearly perfect. It's I did not expect this movie to be as good as it was, especially after Chungking Express being very disappointing. I think still a good movie, but disappointing. This is just so riveting. It's affecting. It's mesmerizing. It's tantalizing. It's all these ing words, and it's so very truly stunning. And I think that it's up there with a movie that we actually haven't covered on Movie Club, which is The End of Evangelion. This might be my second favorite movie that I've watched this year for the first time. And so for me, 99 out of 100. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. I will be purchasing this on the Criterion summer sale, and I absolutely loved it.
Nice, very good. Yeah, I similarly to you. I'll retake that. Similarly to you, I absolutely enjoyed this. I was very skeptic coming into it because of the Chungchi Express. Is Chungchi Express? Chungking Express. Because it was buried in two different stories. When he focuses on one story, it almost becomes a masterpiece, which is fantastic. I also like the cinematography, the bright dresses that she wears, and then I just loved how I didn't expect the ending. I absolutely adored that. I was watching and I go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get my happy ending that everybody else wants to see, and I'm okay with it because it gives you a little bit of a surprise at the end. And I'm very surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. So I gave it a 96 out of 100, I think.
Yeah,
96 out of 100. And it's fantastic. A good romance movie.
Well, there you go. So now the question falls to you. What do you think of In the Mood for Love? We'd love to hear what you have to say down in the comment section. But remember to be respectful of one another, because you might fall in love with the other person. But next week, we're going to be covering the superhero drama Logan, which we're very excited to talk about. So make sure to watch it before next week so you're not spoiled. But that's going to be it. So, of course, we have this series that goes live every single Friday at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we also have our weekly live stream every Wednesday from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to whenever it ends. Usually it's about an hour long, where it's movie news, reviews, and so much more. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.